Hey, this is Mary Chieffo, a.k.a. Chancellor Rel from Star Trek Discovery. And on behalf of the Klingon Empire, I welcome you to Hailing Frequencies Open. Kabla!
See if we can hail them.
Hail them. Hailing frequencies open, sir.
Hailing frequencies. Open.
I don't know why I keep giving alien street food a chance. It's always such a gamble.
Captain, we're being hailed.
On screen.
Hello and welcome to another Hailing Frequencies Open podcast where we're trekking through the past and future of Star Trek. As always, I'm your host, Mike Jones, and joining me here in the virtual studio, it's not a Zoom room anymore, we're upgrading, folks. He's excited that the sounds of instruments warming up has finally left his waking nightmares. He's here to ask the hard-hitting questions like, is there an expiration on the length of an engagement before marriage conversation? It's Damien.
I think that's the first time that she actually provoked a gasp
An audible
from me.
gasp.
I don't even know which one to respond to first. Yes, I was stuck in orchestra auditions, which was its own version of Chinese water torture.
Yes.
Where you sit in a room with like, a dozen violins and a trumpet warming up, playing random noise, and see how long it takes you to lose your mind from that. But really, I think the real jab was the fact that, yes, it is true. I have been engaged to be married to the same man for 11 years. And that is something I think we have not actually in this, as we talk about gay marriage. I'm proud to have been at one tiny part of the fight for my right to not marry my fiance.
You're right to put it off. Oh my God, I can't
Thank
believe
you, Lenita. Thank you. I can't believe that she has not made that swipe sooner.
Well, marriage hasn't come up before this.
Well, the fact is, spoiler, she's not here.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say Lenita's not even
listen
here.
to the podcast. Yeah.
Lenita is stuck on a train. There might be some behind-the-scenes footage of her asking for help from the train. So go to the Patreon for that. But we are super excited about our guest today. One of the most exciting things that we found in doing this podcast is you never know who is secretly, or maybe not secretly, a Trekkie. Lately, we've surrounded ourselves with such weirdos and lovable misfits and kindred oddities that it's easy to forget that some Trekkies can clean up quite nicely. Tonight's guest is a nationally recognized leader in public affairs, economic policy, and strategic communications with more than 15 years of experience advancing inclusive growth through government service, nonprofit leadership, and coalition building. He served as the Director of Public Affairs and Senior Advisor at the U.S. Department of Commerce. Appointed by the Biden-Harris administration, he helped lead national conversations and stakeholder strategies for major economic initiatives. A frequent media contributor and sought-after speaker, aren't we lucky? He is widely recognized as a trusted voice on economic empowerment, LGBTQ plus inclusion, and civic engagement. In 2023, Out magazine named him to the Out 100 list for his national leadership and impact. And here's an Easter egg. What other guest that we've had on the pod was in the Out 100 list? Let us know in the comments. Currently, he serves as the Senior Vice President of Public Affairs and Engagement for the Human Rights Campaign, hence the marriage jokes. And most importantly, he is an avowed Trekkie, which means we might get to see his weirdo colors come out this time. And welcome to the pod, Jonathan Lovitz.
Hi, friends. It's great to be here, and hi to all the listeners and viewers. This is really fun. We find our tribe this way. It's so great. I love that about the internet. As many things as there are to hate about social media and all, it lets queer nerds find queer nerds, and the rest is history.
Absolutely, and I'm so proud that I wore my queer nerd shirt tonight for that.
Nice. I'm wearing a Human Rights Campaign shirt that I just bought at Pride last weekend.
So One, I'm elated that you bought that, and I can't wait to show this to the team. Two, I had only been on staff for not even, I think, 3 full days, and internally they rolled out that amazing eagle that's on your shirt there, whose name, who we decided is so fabulous and such a sort of departure from what people might expect from a Pride logo from us, that she needed a name, and we had an internal contest, and the brand new head of comms came up with Beyonce, and so Beyonce soars across America.
She
was
has
just
these
on a
great
Pride in
lashes.
New York. It was, yeah, she's got a harness, she's got lashes. She's extraordinary.
It's so great. What I really love about this shirt is that we're reclaiming. There's so many symbols of America that the right seems to own. You know what I mean? And like, I saw this shirt, or it seems that way. I mean, when I see someone with an American Eagle, bald eagle t-shirt on, my instant assumption, right or wrong, is that I need to be a little more cautious and find out where they are. But like, this is like a gay rainbow eagle. And I was like, yeah, we can have the eagle too, damn it.
I mean, listen, I hope people are listening to this any time of year, but we're recording right around the 4th of July and the 250th of the country. And why not? Being proud of your community and of your country are patriotic. And there is no, we say this at HRC, this is one of our goals, is to make sure no one in the country, or every particularly young queer person in this country, feels as safe around Pride flag, American flags, they do with the Pride flag.
Yes.
Like there is no reason that patriotism belongs to any party. It belongs to all of us. And I love that queer people are taking it back and flying their American flag next to their Pride flag, next to their trans flag, next to whatever they believe in. And why not? Same constitution for everybody.
I gotta say, I had a pair of American flag booty shorts at the beach last year, and my fiance of 11 years said to me, he's like, people are gonna get the wrong idea. You better change. I'm not comfortable with those. People are gonna get the wrong idea. Yep, not even kidding.
Even
yeah,
the
so
booty
no,
shorts.
it is a thing to be reclaimed. It is.
Claim the flag, everybody.
It is.
Yes.
Right.
Can we start out super basic with you? I feel like I think I told you this. We're gonna start with some softballs. What is Human Rights Campaign?
Human Rights Campaign, where I now work, just celebrated a year there, is most people, whether or not you know the name, you've seen the blue square with the yellow equal sign. Hopefully a Subaru has passed you recently and you've noticed it. And I kid, we're on many Hyundais too. But no, we are the nation's largest LGBTQ plus organization. We are fighting for every single one of us and all of our allies to be safe at school, at work, and to have queer voices represented in politics and wherever policy is being made. And we get to do it with incredible members all over the country, along with elected officials and celebrities. And most importantly, we all the people who just believe that America only works if everyone has a fair shot to exist in it. It's a real privilege, especially as a gay man, who I am where I am and able to do what I do and to work for an organization this prestigious and to help this many people because of the men and women and queer folks who have died before us, literally fighting in the streets to get us this far. So to be able to take my skills and the privilege of getting to serve our people and our country this way, it's the greatest honor. And I think, especially in this moment, the big guns really need your help. And we need people volunteering with us and getting out the vote with us and being a part of change with us. Otherwise, who's left if not we the peeps?
Now, I mean, there, obviously there's a number of, LGBTQ advocacy organizations, and it's like, the mountain is to climb ahead of us is high. And, how does an organization like that focus? Like, is your mission broad? Is it, do you pick certain key focus points, to devote your resources? Like, how do you decide what the fights to fight are currently?
Well, it does feel like there's a new one every day. It really does feel like Hercules was my favorite, millennial. So one of my favorite Disney movies growing up, and the Hydra scene is what we deal with at work every day. We cut one head off and win one battle, and 7 more grow out of it because they've tested the fences and they found language that works against today the Supreme Court picking on trans kids in sports. Tomorrow it could be back to marriage. Who knows what the next fight will be. But the way we're able to be so prepared is because of the apparatus we've built. I mean, we are in, queer people exist in every zip code, and because of technology and the way that we've grown our membership, so are we. And so we're focused at national policy change, but half of that is, what we're learning to navigate is based on what's happening in the States. How, when they're testing the fences of how far a law can go in a Texas or in Arizona, and then seeing that they want to just fast track that to Congress and try it on a national level, we could get between that and fight that because of the huge machinery that we've built to fight for equality. So the nice thing is too, we work so well and have so many, as you said, great partners out there, and everyone should do their homework to find the organizations in addition to HRC that resonate with you and touch the kind of work that you want to do. For some people, it's helping young people. For other people, it's helping businesses. For others, it's helping environmental causes that support queer justice. Like, whatever gets you out of bed is the thing that you should go support. And we're able to succeed because there's so many incredible grassroots partners who help us mobilize on the ground as a big national machine that can help, turn a giant national Norma Desmond ready spotlight on the people.
Absolutely.
And it feels like for a time, like in the, you help, I'm sure, correct me here. But it feels like, during the fight for marriage equality, felt like the primary, like, to me, HRC was synonymous with that particular fight. Was there, how true is that? And was there a pivot once that sort of part of the war was won?
You know what? I am constantly impressed at HRC especially, but really how everyone in the movement and across all the other minority movements really are one-person bands. You might see marriage equality being out in front because it's maybe the big drum, but there's also a kazoo and a bell and 9 other things happening. And and so for us, it's always a matter of balance. Like, how do you, one, win something as sort of all hands in as marriage, but also not keep your eye off the ball of what's happening to trans rights and business rights and HIV cuts and you name it. So, part of that is great staff and great advisors and great networks out there who keep us appraised of what we should keep our eye on. But also, these things are all interwoven. They're the road to marriage. If people remember the big win, which we just celebrated again, the 11th anniversary this week, and people remember the red flags and the love is love and every corporation going rainbow and all those things. But we also lost 12 state cases or cases or ballot amendments before we got to yes. So reminds me a lot of my college dating life. And so it feels very analogous to the fight we're in right now, where people are sort of playing catch up to their understanding of trans issues, the way we were on accepting queer people and their marriages 10 years ago. Like, we're on a similar trajectory. And I think
I think we're on that trajectory even within our community. I think there is, I think that gay men are only in the infancy of recognizing that they share this fight with trans people and learning and we have our own journey from within to accept certain parts of our own community.
1,000,000%. And I think that's one of the real privileges. And I look at it, I'm a cisgendered white guy in a shirt and tie in Washington, D.C. I am about as apex predator, a person of privilege as there possibly could be. And so so are a lot of, particularly the gay white men who benefited from marriage equality and the early workplace development, all stuff, who definitely went, I got what I came for. And I don't think there's anything left that I need to fight for. Like, we got it all right. And that's not all their fault, because we also let people sort of go off and enjoy their marriages and their workplaces and their, the sort of positive crest of the wave we were on for a while. And then all of a sudden the bottom dropped out again. A lot of work was being done behind the scenes to rev people up for just the right moment when they could come out swinging against us. And now's the time we're calling everyone back in, because you may not think you have skin in the game in today's trans equality fight, but they were there for you since Stonewall and forward. And in many ways, we owe them for standing by our side, often silently during the marriage fight, knowing we'll come back to the next important issue. So there is such a critical importance for folks like us to show up in big numbers, to take some of the weight and labor and pressure off those who have been on the front lines for our community since the 60s, if not before, and just say, like, look, we are inextricably in this together. The same workplace protections that are going to keep me safe at a Fortune 500 are also ultimately going to keep you safe at working at your small town bar in, Mississippi, where you need this work 10 times more than I do to get through the day. So the more we can remind each other that our rights are so inviolably linked, the better we'll be.
I feel like I would be remiss in not asking you this, although I did tell you that this would be fun, and so we're going to pivot after this. But I mean, I feel like we can't not mention what happened today. There were some Supreme Court rulings. We had a ruling about we had what we feel like it's some good news that like birthright citizenship has been preserved. But there's some rulings about trans rights today, and maybe you could tell us why like that is something that is important to all of us.
And yet, the latest manifestation of conservatives being obsessed with trans people so that no one notices they have no other working ideas or philosophies or policies or abilities to fill a swimming pool in Washington, D.C., let alone run a country. They are taking their ire and the ire of people out on kids, on trans people, on people just trying to exist in America. Shipping away today was about states' abilities to limit who is girl enough to play sports and what that means. And we lifted up a piece by AOC today from a speech on the floor, I think over a year ago, as they were just looking at this issue and saying, like, you have no mechanism to enforce this. So when you enact this, it's going to be chaos out there where you're going to create the problem that you invented for this scenario, that there are men and women's locker rooms. Well, now, if schools want to carry out some of these policies, they might hire a locker room inspector. That might be some kid's dad, creepy uncle. Could be, there are so many variables now that are only going to make things scarier and worse. And this hurts all women and girls, period. Like, there are now, there have been women, cis straight women with short hair who presented either slightly more masculine or just didn't look like that, whatever that man's vision of a girl was, that have been followed into bathrooms, that have been screamed at in restaurants, that have been kicked out of workplaces. Like, this is happening to the other people. We are all now watching the collateral damage just begin to happen. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court has decided here. So short of legislative remedies in Congress, people got what they voted for. And this is why it's so important that you do not ever sit an election out, because we have the majority on the Supreme Court. The fact that even you mentioned that they also decided that the 14th Amendment, birthright citizenship has been affirmed, not 9-0, not 8-1. It was, I believe, either 5-4 or 6-3. Forgive me, it's been a long day. But these basic inalienable human American rights should not be
unambiguous.
Right. And,
so
the very basic rights are being questioned.
Correct. Like, if literal black letter law in the Constitution is being second guessed, what do you think is happening behind closed doors about people like us who were never even a dream of the framers?
I have a kind of a follow-up question to kind of bring it into the Star Trek conversation a little bit. Just looking at your career, first of all, I'm just assuming that we all would love to get towards this Roddenberry future, right? And looking at the kind of work you've been doing in DC and in working in politics, really, it seems like a pretty powerful pivot to go to the Human Rights Campaign. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I'm glad you asked, because I got my start, some of my earliest professional work. I had an amazing early career, sort of unexpectedly as successful as it was as a performer, with some touring and Broadway theater work, and then some TV and film and all this stuff. All of that, which was an incredible sort of first chapter of my life, gave me the confidence and the connections and all that to then pivot into the role that I liked playing most, which is me with a microphone talking to people. What do you care about? Tell me your thoughts on. I got to do that a little bit at Logo back when they had gay news on Sundays with CBS. It was such a blast. Like, tell me your thoughts on civil rights and gay marriage and all these things that were very new to talk about on, let alone on air, certainly on television. And all of that kept sort of snowballing into the work that I did over many different types of workplaces in nonprofits and for-profits and consulting and all these different spaces, all around common themes of how do we tell better stories that move more people to help more. That's how I ended up in all of this work and working. I've been at mostly LGBTQ or minority facing organizations over the years. Because again, I think the most beneficial place a guy of substantial privilege can be is using that big mouth and ability to pull people into a room without being questioned to help everyone else that couldn't or was not being given the same opportunity to. And so that has been such a great opportunity, through line through my life, that I've been able to use all of these different avenues to turn a spotlight on the people who need it most. It turned back on me in 2022 when I was, my husband and I were living in Philadelphia at the time for his job. And I got a call from the Biden administration that we've seen your work and we've seen your engagement in the community. And we need to tell better stories to help more people. Are you down? And I mean, it was like the Roadrunner cartoon. I think it was just like a cloud of dust in the shape of me as I was already running.
That's awesome.
I sobbed and I sobbed when I got the phone call that I was getting the job. And, it's months of interviews and background checks and all these things. But the day that they said, this president of the United States would like you to come join his administration at the Department of Commerce and help us help a lot of people after this, recover from this pandemic and rebuild this economy. And the incredible people I got to meet and the work we got to do was life-changing. I am so jonesing to get back to government, hopefully in 2029, 2030, after the next Democrat wins. And when we unfortunately, we had just gotten our feet under us when we did not win the Harris election. And so myself and many other civil servants out there, especially the appointees who had certain skill sets that we knew we could transfer places, we're looking left and looking right for where could we do the next best thing that felt like this level of public service. And to me, seeing what the Trump administration was doing to queer people, to our allies and our friends, this felt like the next logical role. And what an incredible platform to get to steer the storytelling and messaging and political organizing work of this org and all of its people, to hope, certainly start flipping the table in 28 and working our ways to 26 and working our ways to 28 and beyond. Every single transition in my life has felt totally disjointed and unexpected. And yet when you sort of dissect the snowball that happened down that hill, they all happened logically. They all have a line. And so that's why I'm a big fan of telling. I do a lot of group chats with colleges and student groups, and I tell them all the time, it's like the vision of your future that you did with mom and dad on the napkin one day, where it's college to grad school to internship to what, throw that up, ball that up, throw it out. That is not what's going to happen. You're going to take a million zigs and a million zags, and the best thing you do is learn everything you can from them and apply them to the next thing. And so many people who do what I do in communications and public policy and government work, so many of us were theater kids and debate kids, and someone had to listen to us, and our parents wanted us out of the house. And it makes so much sense because you learn at a young age how to pull people into a story and get them hooked on something they care about. And certainly all my years in the theater and television, all of that set me up to be able to have conversations like this with you all and with people all over the world about things that I hope motivate them to care and to take some kind of action, making things better.
you just hit the nail on the head, using story to pull people in. I mean, that's exactly what Star Trek does. And especially, some of those original series episodes where they were trying to talk about racism or the Vietnam War or whatever through the, through the lens of science fiction, through that storytelling, they were, able to get people to think about things. And that's really one of the things I love about Star Trek. Yeah, I love that you have theater experience. We're all theater nerds here.
Well, and what's really fun about working with so many in different facets of my life? I got to work with several Star Trek actors in different capacities, theater, commercials, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I have a really fun honor of getting to message them, call them, DM them, whatever, and say, we're working on a thing to get out the vote. Like you were saying, I have a vision of a Star Trek Get Out the Vote program that reminds people we can't get to that future unless we start it today. And, I share that. I was just talking about it with some of the actors, and they are like, say when, coach, we're in. And because I think they know what they've sort of instilled in people that, we do have to get through World War III, but eventually the Vulcans visit. Like, it will turn around. And best of all, queer people, Asian people, Black people, and everyone else makes it to the 24th century.
Right. We're there.
We're there, baby. So, I think that gives us up. We are also all of our forefathers and mothers' wildest dreams that we'd be on a queer podcast like this, let alone, in the jobs we're all in and living the lives we're living. So knowing that we are, building that future right now, I think should also give everyone a little hope and a little incentive to make it nice right now that, there will be ruins someday in a future Earth. And I'd like to find the good things, like all of our Star Trek memorabilia and less redhead.
Can you tell us your Star Trek story? Are you a lifelong fan? How did you come to it?
Lifelong. I mean, I don't know. I don't know my Genesis day, but I do know it was young enough that TNG, I think, was still very much on air, certainly in syndication. I remember, I'm just slightly old enough to remember the day UPN launched, and we watched a brand new network.
More than old enough, but yes.
Mm-hmm. So, those Star Trek 2 gave us must-see TV moments back in the day that we don't have a ton of anymore. So I just remember it always being around. And then I can't what year was Generations? 90, is it 96, 97?
94?
90, my God. Yeah,
that's
I think that's one of the first movies I remember using my own, nickels and quarters to go buy a movie ticket. I was like, I gotta see this.
I saw Star Trek Generations on a date with a girl.
Well,
long time ago.
We're all learning.
I'm pretty sure I saw it on a friend date with a boy. Neither one of us wanted to be with the other, but we were the only Trekkies that the other knew. So it was, yes.
I also had a early middle high school, young love straight girl who watched Star Trek with me. I wonder if that's the other, we were in a musical together category of how we find some of our first girl loves.
Yeah.
Was my Star Trek gal.
Do you I asked this because I know that my sort of pre self-aware self was very compartmentalized away from Star Trek. I did not associate anything Star Trek with any of my sexuality in any way. I look back and I'm like, why didn't I have a crush on Riker? I don't know.
Well, totally.
I kind of do retroactively, but I sure didn't then. Did you have a sense? Was it tied to your queer self as a child?
Will Wheaton?
Behold the Will Wheaton Wesley Crusher red uniform behind me.
God.
What he between that and Jonathan Brandis on Sequest.
Oh,
we were good in the 90s, guys.
This was Bop magazine.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely was. And it's so I'm here in DC. My dear friend Tom organizes the most wonderful group, the Gay DC Trek Club. And quarterly we get together, we watch episodes, we gab, we drink, we eat like themed snacks. I brought a peptide cake once. It was blue uniform frosting, the whole bit. Anyways, it's a real nerd fest, and along the ways, all of us are queer in some way, and so we talk about where Star Trek fit in our lives. But we also, because we just did it in June as a Pride celebration, we watched, Jadzia and her infamous kiss, and we watched Riker and his androgynous love affair, and we talked about all of these queer through lines that we just couldn't even how. Looking back, we all expected both of those episodes to make us ick more than they did at that's how we told a queer story in 97 or whatever. They did better jobs getting people to ask questions in those episodes in the 90s than we're doing on some things today. Because they treated it as, well, why wouldn't this exist in a civilized intellectual future?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it was.
I remember the Outcast and watching it as a. I couldn't tell you when. I may have watched it in college or
inside guy, right?
And it actually really bothered me because I was like, this is the best that we get. Like, this is such a indirect allegory that wasn't, to me, it wasn't enough. And then coming back to it as an adult, I can see how it wasn't enough, but it was the sort of the conversion therapy allegory was just dripping out of it, and it was so well executed. Yeah.
They said non-binary on television probably a decade before I ever heard it in my professional life. Like, it is. Yeah. So, real kudos to them. And I know they went through hell and they got letters. Certainly the DS9 ones did. And I know I have since, if you guys haven't, have you read, what's his name? Garrick, Robinson. Yes. Have you read his book?
No.
So he's got I recommend the audio recording of his, it's Garrick's memoir, essentially, written as a tome to Julian. And it just like if Oscar Wilde were a Star Trek fan, he would have gone nuts for this shit.
Yeah.
Got to find that on Audible or something.
And you have to hear him read it. It's in the original, Klingon. It's so good. It is. Yeah, and it's such a queer geek love fest, and I love and so one of the other things that I love that Tom always does at our quarterly party is we'll get a cameo, like the cameo apps from different people. Yeah. We've had Nana Visitor, we had Andrew Robinson, I
got one from Nana for my birthday, and it blew my mind because I didn't understand at the time what a cameo was, and I thought she was talking. I mean, she was, but I thought she was talking to me, and I was so confused.
I mean, she was.
She was. Yes.
Yeah. So that's another thing is that we love that every time we do this, they all to a man go, oh my God, we love that there's a gay, Trek club meetup in your town. Like, that is the greatest thing. That's all we could have hoped for with the show. And they know they were instrumental to us finding our way for so many of us.
Did it ever occur to you that there might be other gay Trekkies in the world as a teenager or as a young person?
It wasn't until I got to college. And then...
Oh, see, that's early to me. That's surprising to me.
You know what? College, my undergrad years at University of Florida, go Gators, was, the time when you still lugged the binder of DVDs with you everywhere.
Yeah.
And the first 20 some odd pages of my DVD binder before you got to all the campy ones in the back were, 5 discs per 7 seasons per 4 shows? It's a lot of crap to lug around. And then I took that thing on tour buses with me for years with shows. I took Star Trek with me, and it was partially just by having it on a screen and someone going, wait, you too? But also the older I got and the more people I found grew up loving Star Trek, and especially once it sort of proliferated the internet and became easy to find everywhere. It was so fun to connect with people who had such differing levels of sort of engagement with it, but also especially the people who had deep lore love that you look at each other I thought I was the only one who cared enough to know So you're telling me I wasn't the only kid that stayed in on Friday nights at high school and looked at the Enterprise D blueprint box? Like, I'm so glad there are so many of us.
Yes, there really are.
Case in point, many, many years later, a very dear friend of mine who is this incredible trans military officer who was unfortunately forcefully discharged under this administration, was a member of the Space Force, proudly had her like gold spray painted ships, just like in the observation lounge on her wall, had her comm badge with her in her office. Like, we are everywhere.
I'm going to tell you right now, she was the other Out 100 guest on our podcast.
Yes. Colonel Briefram.
Yes, we met at a Star Trek convention, of course.
The dearest and the greatest, and I adore working with her, and through her have met so many other queer Star Trek people. So we're everywhere, gang.
Woo! We're here, we're queer, and we're nerdy.
That's right.
How have you felt about the representation in new Star Trek? Once Discovery came, have you taken on New Trek the same way as our sort of 90s forebears?
Yeah, I mean, look, anytime Trek exists, it's a good thing. It is not all Trek has to be for all people. I say that as a guy with strong feelings about musicals too, and the amount of people who are like, that is not Broadway, that is not good, that is not whatever. Okay, don't watch it, but leave it for other people to enjoy. I know.
All right, so I can already hear a diplomatic answer here. So what is your of the new Trek? What have you loved?
Where Academy was going. Actually, I love the whole concept of Academy, and I think my dream is to have done, if they had done it almost like an American Horror Story kind of anthology feel, where we got Academy in every timeline. So like, or make a period, like the Academy period I want is like the Lost Generation, Enterprise B, Picard at Starfleet stabbed through the heart era. Show me the finding a brave new world. Show me like meeting new people. Like, the thing that was hard for me about Discovery and then the Picard or the Academy set there was that's so far out from here that I feel so totally removed from the technology and the people. I felt intimately connected to the 23rd century. That's close enough. I could see us getting there and being those people. 1,000 years from now, I don't.
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
Get that. I was glad when they jumped ahead that I wasn't in favor of a prequel, to begin with. So when they jumped ahead, I was like, thank God, now we're free and clear of all of the canon issues in my head. Yeah. But they did jump really far ahead. That does make it a little less relatable.
And not for nothing, I'm a rules guy. Where's temporal mechanics in all of this? Like, where is Captain Ransom and like the people who they spent 7 attempts tracking down, Janeway and Seven? You couldn't spend 1 minute trying to pull the ship back where it should be. Like, I don't know. There were timeline things I had questions about.
See, I mean, I always go for the Doctor Who answer, which is the wibbly wobbly, which is just like it's the wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. You know,
The timey wimey. Like Janeway, time travel gives me a headache,
and I'm totally down with that. Like, I think that's especially as I grew up in Florida, and so I went to Kennedy Space Center a lot. Like the sort of inevitability of loving space was really built into being a Florida kid. And then I went to space camp where, of course, there were other like Star Trek nerd kids and all this stuff. But I loved that the tech on Star Trek was at least maybe 2-3 layers real. And then after that, we just said, sure, subspace must exist because we've justified everything else. So that always worked for me. And I think also instilled sort of a love of tech because I was like, well, yeah, it makes sense that 400 years from now, sure, they could shoot, wibbly wobbly through a crystally, and we go whooshy whooshy through space. Like, we're already kind of there with gas here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
how does
funny.
that happen?
Yeah,
I
with
mean, I learned it in high school, but
Yeah.
it's funny, some of the technology, looking back at especially shows from the 80s, and like the way they use pads, like somehow a pad can only contain one document. So they walk in with a pile of pads, like we don't do that with iPads. It's not like I've been doing my homework, here are all my iPads I'm reading. It's like they got some things right and they got some things wrong.
Yeah,
Which
it's funny you
is
say that.
great.
I was watching a random, like an older episode where Keiko was teaching in the classroom. I think it was Space Karen's first appearance, and that the students were turning in work, and it was literally a pile of pads.
Yeah,
We have artificial gravity, but we got rid of the cloud.
exactly right.
can you imagine like having to hand over your entire iPad to turn in your homework? I mean, it's
What I think about what can it. God forbid I ever got you're running out of space warning from Google on my iPad at that point, because we had this solved.
So do you have so you mentioned an anthology series. Is that, I mean, which actually was, is what I think Brian Fuller originally wanted to do with Discovery, which
Cisco, yeah.
Being sort of production minded people, we can imagine that, of course, that is the reason they don't want to do that is they don't want to rebuild the sets and redesign.
Cost prohibitive.
But do you have a sense of where you want the franchise to go? Where it feels like we're on the periphery of an abyss. We don't know what's coming next. But yes, pitch your series, please.
Harry Metalis, if you're listening, all I want is Star Trek Law and Order, because all of the courtroom episodes are phenomenal. Show me interstellar law in action. So give me a courtroom drama and
like
give
Space
me
Jag.
Yeah, give me Trek Jag, but like I'll also take some of the like going out into the field and capturing the bad guys and all of that. Like I want that. And then 2, I love what they're talking about with this sort of rumor mill around Scott Bakula and like early Federation. That
right.
we should, what some of the things that I love most about Star Trek are from the POV of we don't know what we're doing yet. We're building as
yeah.
And
President Archer,
we saw that so much with Voyager and even a ton of DS9 episodes. And so like the fact that we could have this, let us actually see the uncomfortable first few years of the Federation where everyone thinks humans are a joke, and how we find ourselves and put all of our sort of resources to use. And like, I would love to see a Star Trek West Wing kind of vibe on so many levels.
Well, and of course, we're left to wonder which of these pitches have any future or not. Like, it sounds like all these things got pitched and then nothing happened. So we're it's sort of on a similar trajectory. We all know the Paramount story, right, of what has happened to ES. Help us. Let me see how I can put this. Help us know how to still love Star Trek, even if it's owned by the evil empire now. How do we handle it? Like, what are we supposed to do with that?
I mean, there will always be a corporate overlord.
Yes. Yes.
What do you do with the part of it that you can control? So if the corporate overlord is, and I'm making this up, it doesn't have to be Paramount, it could be anybody, decides to go all anti-DEI and pull all the queer episodes out but leave all the others, fine, find a really creative way to start showing off all the others to everyone all the time on streaming channels or whatever. Like, get creative. You organizing watch parties to have discussions like this is a way to like get around them wanting to force feed you ads. Talk through them with your friends if you're watching the ad version, and have important philosophical discussions about everything. But also, like, there are. I have a very dear friend, Stu, in Chicago, and anyone in Chicago, look up Stupendous Productions. It is the most fun trivia night you'll ever have. And I have had the honor of writing him Star Trek questions because he got a bunch of people who said, we want Star Trek trivia because it's really tough to be a fan right now, but we love being together and being super nerdy together. Plus, it's an excuse to go out and drink and make friends. So, like, you know, throw the gauntlet down and do Star Trek trivia where you live, and like watch an episode and then have some questions and have some fun. And like, it sort of remove the man from the equation. If you can, if that's the part that bothers you, someone's got to own the rights. What you do with watching it's up to you, and how you exercise the fandom. And like we're doing, we're talking about the themes of this incredible show and its expression of diversity and its love of people and technology and the importance of like actually listening to one another, and that proliferate that message. That's all Gene would want.
Absolutely. Community. It comes back to that.
No, and I think that's what we're, you know, it's like we go to cons now.
Yeah.
And God, they feel queerer than ever.
They
sure do. And the only thing that's really interesting is that, you know, so we were just at Trek Long Island, which we discussed at length, but you know, they have all these panel discussions, and there were all of these I don't know how to put it, people younger than us who were basically saying like, cancel your Paramount Plus, boycott Star Trek, basically at the Star Trek convention. And
right.
You know, you're like, okay, well, that doesn't feel. You know, they were also basically like boycott the entire.
To be clear, they are also then going home and watching their Star Trek on their Apple laptop, on their Comcast Wi-Fi, drinking their Starbucks coffee. So like,
100%. They one. I mean, there was like this. I should say one. There's a small handful that essentially were advocating boycotting the entire global supply chain. I'm like,
good luck with that.
Right. Yeah, it's like, how do you, like, I understand that we have buying power. There's, you know, we've seen it happen recently, like ways that we can, you know, use that in a targeted way, but you cannot divorce yourself from the global economy in that way.
And Star Trek fans need to learn the lesson, you know, the valuable lesson of big brands, like you're saying, which is you don't walk away, because at the end of the day, the person who's going to make the green light, red light decision on the show is not a Star Trek fan. They are a person looking at the profit and loss at the studio level and making a recommendation. Show them a profit, but show them our profit. Show them that like queer people are going to go to the website and buy all the Rainbow Star Trek merch you have. Listen to your audience. You know, we are $1.4 trillion in U.S. spending power as queer people. Make them hear you. If you just walk away, they'll go, all right, well, then we'll redo Buffy and we'll make up for revenue there. Like,
it'll just die.
There's always someone who will pay. So they make yourself so loud that they can't possibly ignore you. And that's when I think about, I tell you this all the time about political issues. I was like, you don't always have to be the loudest person in the room. You just have to be the person that makes the case that the person who makes the decision either wins the most or loses the least by working with you. So we're here with Paramount to say, we really hate what you're doing here. Our options are cut the cord, walk away, and you lose a couple 100,000 of us now, or you keep us forever. We tell all of our friends and family, you have that amazing Pride episode, and next thing you know, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. But hey, don't just stop at us. You know, where is your special rollout in February of like a tribute to Black actors in Star Trek, and your celebration of women in March? It's like, it's so easy to align yourself with where the people are, and we'll tell the network what we want. That's why I think it was so dumb of them to pull the plug without even asking sort of the public what they wanted, because clearly we're willing to spend money on Star Trek. Clearly we're willing to go on the cruises and go to the cons and buy the Legos, but give us what we asked for. And then
honestly, there's this whole narrative that I think has taken hold that Academy was brought down by haters, by these quote unquote Trek bros who don't like to see diversity in their Star Trek.
Yes.
And
some of them very famous and wealthy.
who? Like, I want to, like, who are those people and do they exist? And is this like, what, like, is that real? To
One,
what
they do
extent is it real?
exist, and even if they're behind the scenes, all they have to do to succeed is they have to be close enough to the people who make the decision. And that, especially in places like Hollywood, is very easy to ingratiate yourself into. Second, the other part of that that's really problematic is often case, think of Yelp reviews for your favorite restaurant. It's zeros or fives.
Yeah.
The very happy middle enjoys what they're getting, goes home and comes back a week later. They don't do the review. They don't, their involvement with you is showing up regularly. That's why you make it so palatable for them to come back. Same thing was happening here. They only listened to the, angry reviews and completely shut out the people who are on board and said, but they're louder. And they're because they're saying, Star Trek's too woke, they're getting the attention of, bad people who lift this up. And we're like, okay, they weren't watching anyway. We are.
Well, and that's the thing about streaming. And so whatever this, like in broadcast television that we all grew up on, the business model felt straightforward to an audience. If people watch it, and, there was some nuance as to whether it was like the correct advertising demographic with buying power, the age and demographic of the audience, et cetera, et cetera. But this is all kind of smoke and mirrors. Like, it's really unclear, at least to this brain, like what exactly constitutes a success in streaming and what is worth actually investing in. So because it feels like such a bloodbath all the time in streaming. Like they give things a season, or if they're lucky to. I mean, I don't know if you watch Boots on Netflix.
Yeah. Sure.
Right. Like it totally set itself up for a second season. And, my demography shows that it has an audience. People I know watch it. So it seems like that, but things just get canceled so brutally.
Things get canceled so really, like, also, again, I love the point you're making. We have such a short-term memory for Star Trek that, like, if the Paramount, or if the studios had listened to the naysayers and the test audiences, and instead of like the real fans, Star Trek Next Generation would have been canned at season 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Riker never would have grown a beard, and the rest never would have happened. Like, we got better because we listened to fans. And so, I think that's what happens when you listen to strictly profit reports and not the people, which is as true for Star Trek as it is for politics. You don't get the right answer.
The crazy aspect is that they have an entire season 2 already made. And they haven't given no contingency for the fact that might be the success.
Might do really well, but they've already torn down the freaking sets. Like, Hollywood used to be in the early days of Hollywood.
Back when you were born, Mike.
Basically Hollywood was originally ran by people with some kind of love and passion for movies, and for making money. Let's be honest. But now the people who are in charge of all of these, and we're back to just a few companies now because of all of the merges. The people at the very heads aren't people who are passionate about the work. They're passionate just about the dollar signs.
Look at Picard. When they gave it back to people in love with Star Trek, we got the 3rd season that we wanted from the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
So, to whoever is going to do the next project, give it to a fan.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why, it's all I think about some of the best theater I love. Some of the best shows are directed by actors who were in the show the first time around.
Sure. Yeah.
You come back around to directing and go, God, with 20 years of extra hindsight, I realized this is a story to tell. No one better than a Terry Matalas or a Mike Okuda or any of those people to be making Star Trek right now.
So we actually had an episode where we played Debate Club, and we each advocated for a candidate of who to hand the keys of the franchise to.
Oh,
So I'm going to put that question to you. Who you know the who's who? You've already shown that. Who would you put in charge?
I'm all in on Terry Metalis because the story will be great, and the visual will be as stunning, and they won't compete with each other.
Ooh.
They give it to a writer director first, you get Aaron Sorkin. If you give it to a visual artist first, you get J.J. Abrams. And I want something right in the middle.
Interesting. See now, okay, so I'm not going to disagree with you because, spoiler, my choice was Terry Metalis. I advocated for Terry Metalis. I lost. And I'm going to tell you what they came for me on fan service. They did. They came for me on that was
grasping at straws.
No.
Wait, you were saying that he does too much?
Yes, that was the yes. And to be fair, we were all coming for one another because we were playing a game. But that was the attack. Yes.
To me, like, yeah, service me. Like, this is what I want.
That's our clip right there.
That's our clip right there.
Service me, bro. Like, I absolutely want what I came for. I mean, there's a reason the best bits in all the X-Men movies are when they're making irreverent jokes about like yellow spandex costumes.
Right.
It's for the people who stuck it out for 40 years of loving this.
Well, that is a, I think that's a, that feels like a new, maybe I'm naive, but that feels like a new term in the last 5 years, fan service.
Fan service.
It's because we are living in a moment where nothing hits like nostalgia.
Yeah.
Because all we're doing is scrolling through new stuff all day that is giving us minimal drops of endorphin boost. But then you show us old Star Trek and Pizza Hut and Book It Points and arcade games. And we're like, those were the days.
Yeah.
And I'm flooded with joy and good memories. And that is why fan service reigns supreme. I mean, they I think sold themselves short with like the He-Man movie rollout. They tried to make it not about the 80s toys. That's
ridiculous.
That's why we're here, folks.
Is why we're here.
That's why I'm gay.
You're right.
I'm excited to
He-Man
see
sheets.
Yeah. So
there's only one trajectory from there.
That's what worked about some of the like campier Marvel movies. Is they're like, we're giving you exactly the teenage fantasy you had of this ridiculous scenario. And everyone was down for it. I mean, it's why
question.
Like one of the I loved the Lower Decks Stranger Worlds crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
because Boimler was all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So excited.
So give me that.
Well, I mean, also to be clear, that is Lower Decks. Like Boimler and Mariner are all of us for sure.
Totally.
Yes.
But even Lower Decks, I'm like, you know what? When there was too much like original new idea, it's like give me more like niche stuff. Give me that fan service. Give me some of that. Like, but I also knew, similarly, they have to attract a new audience and make this sing for people. So it's a balance, and I don't envy anyone trying to make content right now because of all the things that we've discussed. It's really hard to get anything to cut through. I mean, it's part of my job professionally is to figure out like what actually resonates through the algorithm. And going back to where we began this conversation, it's a good story first. All the visuals in the world are not going to make a bad story better.
Talking about fan service, can you think of a time that Star Trek gave you something that you didn't want, but you were wrong? Because you're saying, give us what we want. Do you know? Like, for instance, I wanted another season of Picard. I wanted another Next Generation reunion. I wanted legacy. Still want legacy.
I absolutely want legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they got rid of Kess, so that was everything I wanted.
Did you know that you wanted that at the time? Because I sure didn't. And then when I saw what happened, I was like, oh, this was correct.
Well, I sure did. Yeah, she's the Jar Jar Binks of the Delta Quadrant. I didn't at all.
Wow.
Yeah. Hot take. No, I also feel like they wrote her. Part of it was the Bambi-esque of it all got really tired really fast.
Yeah.
You have access to too much information to be so naive. So no, but you know, joking aside, you know what? Esri Dax.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Sure.
I got a lot of closure on some things that I wanted. Did I hate how that happened and why that all came to pass? Absolutely. But did we get some closure on some Jadzia storylines? Did we get some really great history? Did we get that really great episode with the phaser rifle and shooting through walls? Obsessed with that episode. Did we finally get Julian with her shirt off? Yeah, we got all the things we wanted. But Terry Farrell had to die.
That is, I mean, actually, I think you're right. I think that is kind of the best sort of lemonade out of lemons example from Star Trek, and that is, and you know, I mean,
good choice.
I mean, my boyfriend is like, when are you going to stop? I mean, he is not a Trekkie, but he has educated himself, and it's like, he's like, when are you going to stop mourning the death of Jadzia Dax 30 years later?
Never.
I'll never get over it.
Justice for Jadzia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a group of questions that we ask most everyone who comes on the pod.
So this is hazing, but if anyone is equipped, you're more than equipped.
Yes.
Judging already.
Wait, are these like Trek questions or are these like what kind of tree would you be? Okay.
They're Trek questions. If you could have dinner with 3 characters, not the actors, who would they be and why?
Garrick.
Ooh.
Q.
Did you say Hugh or Q?
Q.
Okay.
But I
still don't know what you said.
Q the letter.
Q, I was like, watch my lips.
No, so yeah, Q. Yeah, and then the third. I want to say Zephyr Cochrane, but I feel like no, Leah Brahms.
Yeah.
I need a strong lady scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear the ins and outs because I'm sure even in the 24th century, that one woman did the work of 10 men. So I want to hear her story of building that ship.
Point of clarification, the human, not the hologram.
I mean, either way, the Fungili is going to be good.
Deep cut. I love it. Okay. If you lived in the 24th century, what would your life be like? Would you join Starfleet? Would you stay on Earth?
1,000,000% join Starfleet. 8,000,000% sign me up at 18. I wanted to go. Yeah, 1,000,000%.
What
division would you go towards?
I think about it,
or at least what color?
Well, I've had this thought and I've had this debate over drinks with friends. Like, I would love to command, and it seems like where I would want to end up. But like, I kind of feel like I would probably start up a blue path and take the test and convert.
Well, I feel like Janeway wore a blue uniform before she wore a red uniform.
Yeah, she was sciences. What is your go-to holodeck program?
Did we ever get a male minuet?
A manuet?
A manuet. My go-to program. That's a great one.
I mean, Delete the Wife was maybe as close as we came to that.
Right. The guy in Fairhaven.
Totally. Also, that is absolutely a vocal stim that I say 15 times a day that I'm like, no one knows what I mean when I'm just like,
But tell me that you have never encountered someone who has heard it and been and known right away.
I've been clocked.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, I have been clocked by someone who's like, Voyager? No, wait. So wait, ask me the question one more time. It was my go-to holodeck program.
Go to holodeck.
Yeah.
Also, we have an adult content warning just in case you want to go there.
It could be a holo suite.
You're a safe space, however, wherever you like to take it.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. Like, is it like the Parisi Square Global Finals changing room? Sure. No, I actually feel like when you have access to that much, how could you possibly pick? Right? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
Although I would think being on a starship, especially if I was on a starship, I would want nature. So probably like one of Riker's Alaska programs sounds really nice. Especially if like he and Dee have a pizza waiting for me at the end. Mm-hmm. I love that that's the route he took. We never established him cooking ever once in Star Trek. And
well, he did.
No, he made scrambled eggs and they were terrible.
They did, yeah. Well,
but because of but it felt like the eggs themselves were terrible.
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. He only does things because he's trying to scramble somebody else's eggs.
Pizza Riker, it's like Pizza Daddy Riker. It really is 100%. Like Pete Riker. Okay, rapid fire. Not really. Crusher or Pulaski?
Crusher.
Are you doing Klingon Tai Chi with Worf or Leotard Yoga with Beverly and Deanna?
Leotard Yoga with Beverly and Deanna and getting the tea on everyone. Because those two have violated every HIPAA disclosure law that has ever existed. And
they know
here for it.
That's amazing. Tea Earl Grey. Oh, sorry. Tea Earl Grey hot or coffee black or Raktajino.
I was just going to say, or option B, C, Raktajino. 1,000,000%. Also, where are the triangle mugs that you used to be able to find everywhere that I would do anything to have right now? My queer ceramics people, give us DS9 mugs. We will pay you.
Yes. I literally think that every night because I am I get very thirsty in my sleep. I cannot go to bed without a water bottle. And I invariably swing my arm, knock it over. I need the Raktajino mug.
That has a nice stable bottom.
Mm-hmm. Right. Stable bottom. Well, finding a stable bottom is very difficult.
Speaking of Bashir.
But speaking of Bashir, I think that those mugs were like designed for like truckers or something originally. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because they don't fall over.
You're not
you
gonna
set it on your dash or whatever.
Before cup
anyway,
holders.
Right. If you had a replicator sitting next to you right now, what would you make?
Jonathan Daly.
That goes back to your holodeck program.
That's fair. Yes. No, my goodness, if I had a replicator, I don't know. I maybe actually like Data, I would want, I play violin, if I would want something tangible like that I couldn't get my hands on around me. But again, when you're in a time where you don't want for anything,
right?
It's sort of hard
scarcity society.
Yeah. But I love that all exists. Also, did we see, yes, you could clearly replicate things in your quarters. Wasn't there that one episode with a shopping mall of
Yes. Data's Day. The Data and Worf go wedding shopping together. Yeah.
Could you do that at home?
I mean, theoretically, yes. I mean, right? That's
right. I mean, it's all online shopping. It's not like they had that waiting, the teddy bear waiting for you.
Maybe the communal shopping experience is something that they crave.
Fair. Yeah. I mean, I guess we have an arboretum, but we could also just, holodeck a forest. So.
Right.
Fair. All very fair.
I might know the answer to this already. Who's your Star Trek crush?
I mean, Will Wheaton. But also, in many, many now years of rewatching, there are so many like, transporter guy we see twice.
Yes.
Security guy we see twice. We're like, where have you been?
Very
A
tight
lot of those.
pants.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I said they're in very tight pants, those extras.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Also, like, what did we just see? Oh, the episode with Dax, was it Rejoined? Where she kisses her former lover.
Yeah.
The brother that comes along, the entire party of gays is like, was he hot in the 90s?
We're gonna look him up now.
Yeah,
He
seriously.
aged terrifically. As a room full of gays watching Deep Space Nine, all group Googled.
I swear to God, I in like when I was watching this originally, I went into some sort of like temporary latency period turning this on because there are things that I see now as like a grown pervert that I had no concept of. As a teenager, never.
Totally.
Amazing. Favorite alien species?
I mean, it's hard to hate a changeling, but I also feel like,
I mean, apart from their fascist tendencies.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to hate them. I also like, what's the one? They're a Voyager race. It's the guy, the one from, oh Lord.
I'm no help. I'm busy Googling.
Yeah, what's her name?
Tim Ryan?
Also, her name in the episode is Soren. No, I'm sorry. That's the one. That Soren's the one in that falls with Riker because we watched those together. But no, her brother in the Jadzia episode is extraordinarily. Oh, now I'm going to blank on this race. But you know what? I will say in their place, I think Andorians are underloved. And I'm really glad that we got the whole Shram story arc because I felt like we finally got to see an Andorian that wasn't just playing an alien. And like, we also really never get to see a cold race. We've dealt with hot races. And it's interesting to watch them try to exist in a place that they don't like. Because we make everything comfortable for pink skin humanoids on our ships. So to have all these other races on, we're like, we really don't cater to you, do we?
I'm in the public spaces.
That's
well,
true.
You know, our missing third, if she knew this, sitting on her New Jersey Transit train, which I'm sure has not moved still, would be applauding your choice of Andorians.
Is she pro Andorian?
Yes, she is very pro Andorian, and she promises Andorian cosplay someday.
Oh, I mean, one also has to think that just given the what we know about the universe and people sharing ancestries, that is too similar a blue to Bolians for there to not be a story there.
Yeah.
Was there a great Andorian Bolian divide one day?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
some decided they wanted to be warlords, others wanted to be barbers, and they just were like, get off the planet.
I mean, you reference you're referencing Vulcans and Romulans, I suspect, and that always one of the missing stories that I mean, granted, it's so ancient and would be so alien, but I would love to know what the hell happened. They all left because I mean they rejected logic, theoretically.
Which leads me to believe that they were all just in space acting really wackadoo and like really aggressive. And how did you get anything done if you were so illogical? But also, like, again, give me that anthology. Give me the, I would love, like, also show me the great events. That's another thing, like, that you could do with some of those moments. Like, show me Kittimer from the Klingon point of view. Show me, show me these moments.
Yeah. So one of the moments that I have always wanted to see, one of my favorite TOS episodes is Balance of Terror. I love the Romulans. I love that sort of submarine kind of story.
Totally.
But they really fucking wrote themselves into a corner by revealing that nobody knew what the Romulans looked like until that episode, right? Because I would love to see the Romulan War, but how the hell do you do that without
Right.
ever actually seeing them?
Right.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's tough. Well, they didn't have the foresight.
Yeah, they didn't know that 6 years later we'd be talking about this. So.
Exactly. Okay. 3 more questions.
Okay. Sorry.
Who is your Star Trek bartender? Guinan or Quark?
Guinan.
Excellent. Are you on Team Tasha or Team Armis?
It's such a good question when people get it right. It's such a good
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for that. Thanks.
So good. I mean, I'm happy that Armis, did Denise the favor she wanted, but I really wish they would have stuck around and built out Yar the way she could have been. But I'm glad we got her back so many times. Also, one of my favorite photos I saw from one of the recent Star Trek cruises was the guy in the trash bag Armis costume chasing
her
Crosby around a boat.
Amazing.
So good.
I'm genuinely sad they didn't do a whole photo series. Like, here's us at dinner, us at the spa.
So the missing information is that we have on this podcast, have a long-term fixation on the death of, Jesus.
It's
She shows up
Lenita.
Lenita has showed up right for the very end. And you know what?
Of course I did.
And you know what question
The way
you walked
she
into?
does.
Ooh, what question did I walk into?
Team
Tasha,
Tasha or
Team Armis.
Yes.
Well,
I
then
mean,
I'm
that's
going to hit it for your late arrival. You better explain this ongoing joke to our guests, please.
Well, I need to know what the answer was before I explain anything.
I mean, I feel for them both, but I'm Team Tasha in the long run because I wanted more from and for her. But I said Armis did her the favor she wanted.
Here's the thing: is that you're all so sympathetic to her. That's the problem.
And by you all, she means gay men. That's what she means.
Right. Yes, that's what she means.
I love. Here's the feminist take on why you should hate Tasha Yar.
Right.
Because she is a non-consensual user of a non-human form for her own sexual gratification when he was under the influence of a space drug during the Naked Now. When we learned that he was fully functional in all forms and fashion. I know, blown your mind.
Well, if Armis hadn't done him in or her in, then the Me Too movement would have.
Correct. He's trying so hard. His mind.
No, I appreciate the depth here. This is good.
You thought it was just some. Yeah, you thought it was just a surface answer. No.
I appreciate the work that's done.
This is the dead horse that we've been beating for a couple of years now. So
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, it's still kicking.
God bless.
Okay, last question. Who's your cat? Did you finish that cocktail?
And by the way, that one the previous question is the only one in the entire set that anyone present will judge you for your answer. So it doesn't.
But yeah, and here's the thing: I'm the only one who's judging you for that last question. Everything else, totally fine.
I mean, I love strong women, so I feel like an Elena Nechayev Once Upon a Time would have been my captain. But then we saw how that turned out. No, I feel like I would be just all things down with Janeway, and I it's another piece of the story and the continuation of episodes that I hope we get, or some kind of saga with her to get those sort of missing years before her admiralty. She did some cool stuff. I know it.
Be cool. A year one for her.
Also a year one, but also a year post return. I want to see, does she show up to Mark's house and say, I'm back for the dog?
I want to see.
I'm taking the dog.
I'm taking the dog.
I'm taking the dog.
Shoots him like Tuvix.
I want to see After MASH, but for Voyager, right?
Yeah.
Like how they all, I mean, they're all too old to do it now, but like what their re-entry was like, and like how they, because obviously there's like sort of a terrible like series of events that happened to Seven of Nine, that she became alienated to the people that she loved, and
but I also like, I want some of their story tropes to continue. Like, I want there to be a big, huge party and a celebration, and somebody goes, "Oh, we forgot to invite Harry."
Oh.
Wow, that's cold-blooded. But
I mean, that's just so their jam.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to ask you: is there a do you have a favorite episode that you put on for the sole purpose of comfort?
Oh, that's really good for so for comfort,
you've had a shitty day, or you're wound up and you want to go to sleep, or you like.
Got to add that to the list, Mike Jones.
Yeah,
that's a good.
That just came to me just now.
It could be a Unimatrix Zero. It could, because it's got a nice little love story thrown in there.
Which, remind me which one that is. I don't know names of episodes except like.
So it's a two-parter. They go into the like dream state where the Borg forget that they're Borg, and Seven like has a little love affair. They're trying to help people out of this like mental, this like mental only reality that they're in. I just feel like it's got a lot of the things that I love about a Star Trek in that. But I also what's the one? First Duty. No, not First Duty.
That actually is one for me, because I love an inspirational Picard speech. But
that's it. First Duty, and well, that's like we were saying earlier. I'm so desperate for a Star Trek legal show that any of the courtroom ones.
It's a try.
Like, oh my
god!
Head. Measure of a Man.
Measure of a
Man. That one.
Measure of a Man.
I mean,
Strange New Worlds had a good courtroom episode.
To say that one where we really had to justify, her existence in Star Trek was incredible. So yeah, I feel like those are good. But I also the one I keep when like my husband or somebody's like, show me an episode that will help me understand what is all of this to you. Like I said, I can't show you one that will explain Star Trek to you, but I can show you the thing that I think is the most Trek of it all. And so I'll usually show him, like I'll pull out a Pale Moonlight.
Oh, I mean, that is. It's a favorite episode of mine, but that's a surprising episode for that purpose.
Well, because I feel like you get a maximalist dose of all the things we like. We get a protagonist going through it, and out of their typical character, you get a little inter-alien intrigue. You get some holodeck stuff. You get ships that go pew. You get people that fall in love.
Fake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That and the greatest meme ever. So yeah.
And now these are not from our list, but prior to us getting real queer characters, who were the queer characters in Star? Like who did you feel is queer coded in Star Trek?
I mean, another chance to bring up Mott the Barber.
That never occurred to me. It never occurred to me.
Mott would be gay.
First of all, I was
very naive when I watched these for the first time.
Mott the stylist.
That's true.
And there it is.
Queer coded. I mean, Pulaski had strong elder lesbian in the movement vibes.
Yes.
Like, yeah, Pulaski would have thrown the first hypo spray on the wall.
Sorry, that one was a slow burn for me.
I caught that real quick.
You got a delay there. Sorry.
That was good.
I'm just glad I made it. That's one. When I rewatch, I find things all the time. And what we were saying earlier, by the 23rd, 4th, 5th century, if we've already gone through metrosexuals and everything else by 2026, God knows how many other permutations they've all found normal by then. So, like, any space dock in a storm, I guess.
Well, and that's one of the things that I love about 90s Trek, right? Because we have this, it is this universe where, like, it doesn't matter if you're queer, it doesn't matter what ethnicity or what alien species you are or what have you, but that it is all still so heavily influenced by the time that it was made. And it bears the imprints of those, of its own release date all over,
Right. If it was today, there would be more like millennial gray and less Berber carpet.
Yes.
For sure.
See
all
what
right, Lanita, do you do you have a question?
No, I am so mad. For the listeners, I am mad, and they probably explained it. I didn't even hear my intro. I've got to wait to listen to the episode to know what horrible things Damazon said about me.
I didn't read it because you weren't here.
You, you should have in her absence. Here's the hateful thing.
They told me you were busy getting bailed out of jail. So, like,
it would have taken longer than that. If I'm going to jail, they're going to be like, she's not getting released.
Right, we don't know.
And you know that Jonathan already called the governor about your train. So, I mean, he's
oh my Lord, it was a nightmare. But no, I'm excited to listen to the episode because aside from knowing that you're Team Tasha, that's all I know. That's all I know.
We've done some loops and laughs and circles here.
Well, I know that you have. You were in the greatest hands ever, the captain and the Damazon.
This has been a real hoot. I really enjoy. Like, this is the kind. I told you about the DC Star Trek party I go to, and I'm glad to hear that these are forming all over the country because it's this that is like the greatest kind of tribe finding.
Yes.
And again, especially when you can talk deep lore with people and remind yourself that you're not the only one in the village that like actually does know the difference between, a preganglionic fiber and a postganglionic nerve. And that it's okay to know those things.
And you had the best two people here to have that conversation. Me, I was like, okay, that's what I say. Remind me of what episode that was. Okay,
that's from the Dr. Bashir is still a douchebag episode. He is not yet.
He is not yet
before his character growth journey. Yeah,
when you get to love him even more because he's become his final self.
We were talking about you talking about queer characters. Obviously, we've joked about Bashir and Garrick, but like just on a costuming level. The racquetball outfit. The outfits that men exercise in the Federation future.
Yes.
Is astonishing.
But think about it. Think about what the fashion was for basketball players in the 70s. Shorter shorts have not been seen.
No, and honestly, should come right back.
Yeah.
Their thighs are too large for that.
So this is I'm going to add this to I think this should be one of our rapid fire questions, just in with the mix. Mike Jones.
Oh yes, go right ahead.
During the summertime, what is the correct proper inseam length for men's shorts?
God,
I mean, 5 max.
Thank you. I'm currently wearing 5, so I'm very conservative right now. And I'm still sticking to my chair.
So they're like all things, it's very body dependent because like a 5 on my thigh and a 5 on my husband who's built like a T-Rex, like who's got extra long legs and like little arms, the same outfit wouldn't work, even though we share the same size everything. So like my 5 inches are his 3 inches and,
Are his inappropriate is what you're telling me.
Are his, right.
Your appropriate is his inappropriate. His appropriate are board shorts for you.
That is correct. Yes. Sometimes I just want to feel like I'm going to a Hollister and I'll wear
that's a good one.
5-inch inseam.
Oh my God. The kids are going to be like, Hollister, what's that?
Hollister.
Well, it's a place kind of like Abercrombie and Finch where they only hired models.
Let me tell you about the mall.
You had to be pretty.
If you were the
to work
hottest
there.
17-year-old in your town, you could sit in a chair outside Hollister and be paid for
Correct.
And
Correct.
paid for it.
And paid for it.
So true.
Oh, God.
Amazing. Okay, Jonathan, this has been so great. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us tonight. Is there anything you want to plug? Where can people find you? Where can people support you and Human Rights Campaign?
Well, first of all, thanks. This has been a joy, and we're recording on a really tough day, as we talked about earlier, in the Supreme Court and the civil rights work that I do, and that we're all supportive of. Like a moment of joy and a chance to just take a breath like this with new friends is really special. So thanks for having a queer space like this for us all to gab like this. And for allowing me the privilege of joining you. I've had such a good time. I'm on the socials. I'm JD Lovitz everywhere. And please, you mentioned the Human Rights Campaign where I work, HRC.org. We are 4 million and change growing, and we need every single person who believes in the 24th century we want to get to fighting with us in the 21st if we're ever going to get there.
Well said. Thank you for that. And thank you to my co-host, Lanita, who was late.
Through no fault of her own.
I know. Thank you, Damien. And thank you, listener, for downloading us, enjoying us. Make sure that you give us a 5-star review, like and subscribe. Join us on our Discord and join the conversation. If you head over to hailingfrequenciesopen.com, you can find the links to our Patreon, to our Discord, all of the things. And with that, I will say, Hailing Frequencies close.
No goodbyes. Just good memories. Hailing Frequencies closed, sir.
And Wesley, delete my browser history.
What'd you say?
I said, and Wesley, P.S., delete my browser history.